I have to respond to that on this level. It feels like I'm still here as a student. I feel like the formation, the opportunities that we all experience in this world never end, in the Jesuit world. You know, I taught in Catholic schools for 10 years before I ever found my way to Jesuit education, and we're all excellent schools. But when I arrived at Jesuit High School in New Orleans, it was something different. There was an intense focus on mission. Mission in the sense of, who are we? What are we really here to do? We have to discern that on an individualistic level and bring that to our work. And it was much more than words. So often you begin the year in faculty meetings and you pound philosophy and you pound mission and it goes away and you don't hear it until next August. But there was something different in Jesuit. It was something alive, and that mission permeates everything we do. Every relationship, every decision, and it is a world of formation. It's a world of formation that centers on serving our kids, centers on a rigorous environment, a challenging environment, and a supportive environment. One of the other things that I really understood at that time was I had stepped into a world far larger than a school of 1,400 boys. I had stepped into a world of an educational system that is national and international in scope. And it's been interesting to watch over the last 30 years that growth of bringing a global position together where we are unified as a Jesuit network that gives us such great professional development opportunities and an educational network that's second to none. In 1995, my responsibility shifted to a principal position of that same school. A very highly competitive school in terms of admissions, academics, athletics, pretty intense environment. Again, the same themes just appeared to me from a more of a global, larger perspective than that as a classroom teacher or as a person working with students in a discipline sense. I saw the challenge, I saw the high expectations, I saw relationships institutionally as a principal that I could never have witnessed before, and what a privilege. And that was really when the beginning for me, when I saw the key to the success. 400 years, the Jesuits, the Society of Jesus. That's a pretty cool name, the Society of Jesus. Men that have left their families and commit their lives to work to bring all of us to God, especially to focus on youth at such an impressionable time. I told Father Hermes in January 2011, I really feel like the Jesuits figured it out. And they have. Back to me. I had the opportunity an opportunity was presented to me to really, at that time, it was presented as to be build the first Jesuit-sponsored school that the Jesuits didn't own, board representation, but honestly, it was going to be a different path. So 10 years of my life went into building a school, in bringing the charism of what I have in my heart from Jesuit education, and that was accomplished on many levels. But there was one piece that was never attainable, and that's the true Jesuit spirit. And spirit in such a deep sense, a spirit of, honestly, I don't think the laity can bring that to the boys, to school, to adolescents. You know, I was told once, well, Barry, we learn a lot from the laity. We learn a lot from you married people and watching you with your children. And we're just keepers of the sacraments. Well, no, that's not true. These men dispense graces to us. And that's really the work that they do each day. 3 years ago, I came to Jesuit Tampa, and I was so privileged to be part of this. What have I found here? What's unique about Jesuit Tampa? I've been doing this a long time. A tight-knit community. Part of it is our size. Part of it is a rich tradition, a legacy that's been in place since 1899, so uniquely Jesuit. The other piece that plays out day to day here is the goodness in these young men. These are kind kids. These are kids that come from wonderful families. These are boys who have love in their heart. They are adolescents. Of course they are. 14 to 18, the testosterone's going through the roof some days. But there is a genuineness, wholesomeness, and a concern for people in these boys that I find exceptional. I'm not going to address much in the academic sense. I'm so blessed to have our academic assistant principal here, Miss Debbie Pacheco, and she has done a fabulous job of mobilizing our teachers, offering an opportunity to present new challenges, new rigor, to prepare our boys for the 21st century and offer them an education that makes use of all the techniques and all the available tools to strengthen learning, engage students. Good things are underway. I want to speak to you from the perspective of a parent. And this is something I've never really done before, and I'm a little uncomfortable doing it. You see, I have the pleasure of being a Tiger parent. When I came here, the last of my 3 children came with me and my wife. The other 2 are gone. And he's a member of the class of 2014. He graduates in May. Thank you, Lord. So I've experienced it from the inside, and God has a sense of humor. All 3 of my kids are very different. So my son joined this community as a sophomore, and he's an interesting young man, a very blessed and gifted person, but he's not academically gifted, and he's not athletically gifted, and he's a reserved young man, and he has to work for everything that he attains. Work very hard. He's got challenges on that front too. And I'm no different than any of you. I'm the principal of the school, but one thing I know, I have to give him to the community. I have to give him to this faculty. I have to give him to the Jesuits. I was a little worried. Will he be successful? Will he find friends? Will he find a niche? I watched it from a distance, and my questions were answered. He's no longer the little shy, skinny kid that showed up 3 years ago. He's a confident, respectful young man that gives of himself to people, especially those in need. And this is also very exciting. He's been accepted to every college he's applied to, and that's a credit to these people. His growth has been phenomenal. I've spent 47 years in Catholic education, 20 as a principal. And my last 3 years here have been extremely rewarding. Our program is not just centered on cognitive knowledge, the acquisition of what we need to do to be successful at the university level. We focus on people. We focus on the individual student. And when I talk of a spirit, I'm not talking about a pep rally spirit. Heaven knows we know what the blue tide is, and it's alive and powerful, and I love it. But that's just one level of adolescent development, and it's awesome, but we're speaking of something a little different. There is academic rigor here, no doubt about it, but the relationships are authentic, and our graduates leave us equipped with confidence, ready to compete. Our school is not just fancy bricks and mortar and marketing logos. We're a united community that transforms young men to become leaders. Young men that are going to distinguish themselves as Jesuit leaders, men of competence, men of consciousness, and men of compassion. And every attempt is made to give these boys the opportunity to have a faith response that deepens their relationship with Jesus Christ. That's what holds us together. The Jesuit community becomes involved in the lives of each one of our community members, not just our students. And we all develop a deeper sense of self-worth. And we work to develop a set of values that go beyond self. That's a tough thing to do with an adolescent male. To move past that egocentric stage that he is supposed to be in at this time in life. But to strengthen his confidence, to be vulnerable, to reach out, to help others in a time of need. And that's the secret, folks. It's in these personal relationships. Students to students, student to teachers, students to coaches, administrators, with the Jesuit community with their arms wrapped around us. And our focus is always to give our boys the best experience possible. and we will always lavish them an attention that helps them to become men of faith, men of God, men to serve others. Thank you.